I'm the ding dong daddy. You guys know that inside joke?
Yeah.
What's funny about that? It's when you get your name tag when you come to a conference or a camp, and you look down and it says D-O-N, and then the first initial of your last name is a G, and it says Dong. Sorry, I'll be on it. I'm excited to talk to you guys today. Not only a little bit about things that make us global, but also more about my students. You're going to hear from them here in a little bit. I put my information up on there because I have a ton of free resources on video and media literacy. If you go to .goble.com or follow me on Twitter, I'd be happy to offer up any help that I can. One thing I want you guys to realize is that your voice can reach the world. And if you don't believe that, start believing it. Because what we do in our local publications, in our schools, in our community, does not have to live just there. It should live throughout the world. And you are now coming up in a society where we are global. What we do can be reached and seen throughout the world with a click of a button. So with that, though, comes a lot of responsibility and ownership. This is our website. This is our online media website where we feature videos and student blogs, photo of the week, web surveys, and we get about 2,000 views per week. How do we do that? We push it out on social media. We use our global network. And it becomes real to our kids when they start getting feedback from Australia and Singapore and Mexico. And that's pretty cool. Like, we want to reach our local audience. Evelyn did a great job talking about if you want more views, you talk to, you tell stories about your school and your community. And I would also extend that then to our world, because our classroom is the world. We are not confined within the four walls. And so I'm going to start with the first story of Jenna. Here's Jenna on our team profile page. We only had 6 on staff last year. We're really small. And so Jenna came as a brand new student to our school. She came into my class. And she was struggling with an idea of what to do. You guys ever struggle with ideas, what to do? Something going on, what do I do? So Jenna wanted to make a PSA, public service announcement. And I had her create a website. This is a pretty intense website. She had done some of her own film work on the side on her own, starring and producing at the other school where she came from. And she didn't have it, she was just all like on her computer. I'm like, why don't you make a website? Online digital portfolio, look how awesome that is. And so she made this website, and she decided to make this public service announcement that didn't live within our 4 walls. We decided to find a contest for it. It just happened to be the St. Louis Cardinals were partnering with a nonprofit called The Greatest Save to talk about national teen peer-to-peer crime prevention. And so we submitted it to this contest. Now, I'm not really typically about contests. I'm more about creating the content and then maybe finding a contest that it might fit for, which is what we did with Jenna's video. And this is the video. Powerful, and if you've been in our digital social media or you're following us on Snapchat, you guys will know how many shots we've really been talking about. 5, 6, 7 shots in a simple video with a little music, a couple, 2 to 3 facts of information. But she got really creative with it, right? And she won, and we got to go on the field at the St. Louis Cardinals and be on the big Jumbotron and introduce before the game. And she got a plaque, and she got some scholarship money for college. She'll be a senior next year. And it all started with, I don't know what to do, Mr. Goble, I don't have an idea. Like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to make? What do we want to create? And then we need to sit on it. We shared it out. And so now, she started with our classroom, and then our school, and now our community, and now it's reached the United States. She was one of 25 finalists. So we haven't quite reached the globe yet with her, but we're on the way. So I want to talk to you about a former student I had called Ben. This is Ben, back about 10 years ago or so, I guess already now. As a young freshman, kind of a nerdy little kid, freshman, but he loved making videos and movies, wasn't quite sure what he was going to do with it. Ben actually turned out to become our show's video editor, and he wasn't really quite up to the standards of the work that we would hope for, and so after the first semester, he was a senior, and he was going to go to DePauw to study journalism, and I challenged him. I said, Ben, really, if you want to take the next step, be a really strong journalist, I think here are some goals and some things that we can do to accomplish that. But it's going to require a little more commitment from you and responsibility. So the next day he came in with a drop slip. And he dropped my class. He said, I don't want to do your expectations. I don't want to do that. I'm a second semester senior. I don't want to do that. Well, the story thankfully has a happy ending. He did go on to DePauw to study journalism, and he emailed me his junior year, and he said, I'm going to apologize, Mr. Goble, for being a jerk. I wish I would have known then what I know now. And Ben went to do some freelancing for the New York Times, and I went to Africa to capture the story of the Ebola virus a few years ago. This is Ben right here now, as an adult, there with his camera and covered up with the gloves. I'm going to show you just a brief clip from some of his work in Africa.
Is a great job. I cannot appear there.
I make tomorrow and his crew prepare for work. In this small village called Beka, Sierra Leone, an old woman has died in her home. They're here to safely bury her. Tensions run high. Many think she deserves a traditional funeral.
People are not happy with my experience. They are saying that the mom is not dying with Ebola really.
The team takes no chances. This is the heart of the deadly Ebola outbreak. This is Ben Solomon for you.
One of the things and expectations I shared with Ben was to really have a larger voice and be more open and tell more important stories, and there was no more important story at the time than this for him. And he won a Pulitzer Prize for it just a few years ago. And he came back to St. Louis and he thanked me. He's like, God, I was such a jerk, Mr. Goble, but that kind of just sparked something within me. Like, he went out and did all this on his own. But you never know what kind of opportunities and what your advisors might be telling you could have some sort of an impact. And Ben really is one of the bravest individuals I will ever know. He was featured on the New York Times just a few weeks ago. He's embedded in Mosul covering the story of ISIS. He's putting his life on the line every single day to tell the stories that we need to know from a global perspective. I couldn't be more proud of him. And so a couple years ago, we decided to kind of branch out and do something again. We're going to bring it back a little more local. And I wanted to do a social experiment with my kids. I wanted to show them the power of social media and how we can potentially connect with the world and use Twitter and Facebook for more than just silly fodder where the parties were at or whatever it is they were doing on Twitter. And so I had a couple of goals. I wanted to show them the power of global student voices. I wanted to talk to them about the importance of media literacy, which has never been more important than it is now. We've seen the last 2 years with fake news and what's real and what's not. I wanted them to make global connections with other countries and show them that there are kids around the world maybe doing the same thing that they are, and just kind of show them that the world is bigger than Ladue High School. And I wanted to show them the power of social media. So rather than having me tell you about what our project was, I'll have my kids tell you.
GSNN, it has kind of opened my eyes to see the bigger picture and see how global stories can be really localized.
GSNN allows our students to get different voices from the global community. It shrinks us in, and it lets them know that there's other students in other countries, their age, they have same problems, different problems, how are they handling it, and able to voice their opinion about these things.
GSNN stands for Global Student News Network, and it's a project a classmate and I started this year, and we'll tweet out like prompts or themes And students from all over the world will send back video responses relating to that month's theme.
We've had submissions from Mexico, Canada, Australia, Great Britain, and all over the United States.
So it was really exciting project. That was a local TV station that came to profile them. And at the time that this was recorded, there were only about 19 countries only who had visited us. And this in just the first 4 months. We're now up to 76 countries. And we use this little globe widget to kind of find out who has visited us and how many times in percentage. I mean, US, Canada, Singapore, India, United Kingdom, Russian Federation sending us fake news. But we were able to use like the data and the analytics to kind of find out where all this was coming from. 76 countries. And we've had multiple submissions from all over the world. We use the power of social media. You see how they, so basically what we did is we would curate stories. We put out these prompts and we asked teachers and students, send us the links to your videos. If it was journalistic, if it was forms of learning, whatever kind of media you were doing, send us a link and tweet it with the hashtag GSNN. And Reese and Marissa would just curate that list and find the best and feature them on our website. And I had another student do it last year. And we created this website. And we would profile and feature different ones, and then of course we would tweet that out and we would post it on Facebook. We got a submission from the University of Cairo. The quest, where do Muslims fit the best? Below that, you haven't seen it, you can check it on the page, we have a first grader who has his own science podcast on iTunes. So from first grade to the university and everything in between. In fact, we even profiled the little hawk, John Rogers. Yeah, his media team. We did a whole page for them. My idea and goal, hopefully, is to maybe build a KEMPA page that can be linked off the Global Student News Network. So if you want to find us, you can go to gsnn.weebly.com, at GlobalSNN on Twitter, or hashtag GSNN. My challenge to you would be to submit your work, submit your student work, your publication's work. I had a woman at a conference to send you all of those, and I was like, why not? You'll be our first featured morning broadcast school. And so we're building a page when we go back in the fall for her and her students. And they're in Hawaii. They're just like, that's amazing. So send us your student work. And I want to share you the importance of the work that you guys do and what this project has meant. Because sometimes we never see like the outcome of the result of the work, do we? We write a story, maybe we get a comment, maybe somebody stops us in the hall and says, that was a really great paper, that was a really great story, that was a great video, but sometimes we don't see the impact that our stories can have. And so I want to share this quick story of Patrick, right there on the right. He lives and goes to school in Chicago. So when President Trump says he's going to send the feds in to Chicago to fight the crime, that's where Patrick lives and goes to school. And so his teacher decided to do a quick 6-word story, 6-shot video project for her class. And she gave us a beautiful gift. She recorded his reaction when she showed that when our students received it. Of course, they featured it. They loved it when they heard the backstory. And she gave us a gift by recording his reaction, seeing his work posted for the world to see.
Right here, I want to show you something. So this is a website where kids get to showcase their videos. Most of it are big kids. Most of it are high schoolers. But there's something really special. I want you to see.
Oh! Why are they showing us that? Oh! Wait. Wow! Wait, Malay and me? Baba, we can't see his face.
That's where people from around the world are watching your video. So all of those red dots are people that have seen your video.
Yay!
How many people do you think?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Look, there's people in Africa that saw your video.
13. Not that.
What does it say there?
14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. I can't count that. That's what she People watched a video that made Miss Davis. Miss Z made a video of me and all these red dots around the world
I mean, that right there is the payoff. We got to see the result of what our work can be. So, beyond the last few words that I want to offer you, I thought again it would be important to hear from Marissa and Reese.
I've learned that there are students like me all over the world, not even just in America, who love film, love video, and are talented, and they make stuff that like I didn't even know could be made. And it's cool seeing all the different ideas from all over the world just come together.
And so getting people to tell their story and tell stories about what's happening around them is crucial. And getting the population to believe that they can be journalists too is also crucial. Because anyone can tell a story, and everyone has a story.
Does that sound familiar, Evelyn? Everybody has a story. It's exactly what we were talking about this morning. So I invite you to look us up on social media, submit your stories through the contact page, through Twitter, through Facebook. We would love to feature any of your schools, your school work, articles, photos, infographics, videos, it doesn't matter, you name it, we would love to see it. And be the change you want to see. So in the negative media world, let's be the change we want to see. And your work is important, and it can extend to the world. And I hope you take that to heart. All right, thanks for letting me talk to you guys.